My parents neglected my older brother and they're too prideful to apologize to him after he cut them off. Now they're treating my husband as their replacement son and acting as if he has been their real son all along. Posted by you/mom's replacement son. My parents have 2 kids, me 26 female, and my brother Dan, 34 male. Dan had a rough time growing up and frankly my parents failed him. As a teenager, he struggled with severe addiction and mental illness and they did almost nothing to help him. By the time he finished college, he had completely cut off my parents. To this day, Dan and my parents are still estranged. I, on the other hand, still speak to my brother regularly. My parents, especially my mom, take every chance they can to mourn the loss of their son and act as though my brother wronged them by leaving. Dan has told me he wouldn't mind reconnecting with them, but only if they reach out and apologize first. I've encouraged my parents to do this, but they insist that he betrayed them. I got married early last year to my husband Jeff. We have a happy marriage and he is adored by all my friends and family, but I feel like my parents have been crossing some boundaries. For example, whenever we've gone to visit them, they insist that he sleep in Dan's room, saying that their son, my husband, has come home and should sleep in his rightful bedroom. Before the pandemic, my dad would take Jeff out to sporting events and introduce him as his only son. Most of the pictures of my brother in my childhood home have been replaced by pictures of my parents with Jeff. The other day, my mom called to invite Jeff and me over for the holidays. I told her I was uncomfortable traveling during a co-spike. She was irritated but dropped it. Then she called Jeff and begged him to visit without me because apparently it's cruel for a mother to be without her child on Christmas. Jeff politely told her he wasn't going to visit without me. She's been emotionally blackmailing him ever since, sending him pictures of stockings with his, my mom's, and my dad's names on them and saying, "But we already promised so and so that our son will be in town." This felt ridiculous and unsettling. So, I called her up yesterday and explained to her that she's violating our boundaries. Jeff is not her replacement son, and no matter how much she pretends she doesn't have an actual son, she does. And it is her responsibility to make up for the damage she did to that relationship before it's too late. She started crying and called me cruel for mentioning Dan and said I have no idea what it's like to be a mother and that it's disgusting I'm trying to deprive her of a son when she has already lost one by keeping Jeff away from her. My father agrees with my mother and Jeff agrees with me, though he doesn't like to rock the boat and thinks I should apologize anyway. I thought I did the right thing, but now I'm really not sure if I went too far. Top/relevant comments commenter: I read this wearing a Pikachu face for real. Your parents sound mentally unbalanced. This is seriously unhealthy behavior and it will have a negative impact on your marriage. To them, you got married. Your husband is better than their son. They don't have to be responsible for the emotional upkeep like they did with their teenage son. So, they are replacing their son with your husband to feel good about their son while still maintaining the role of victim where their real son is concerned. That is convoluted beyond all reason. And you need to set some very firm, very lasting boundaries with them. How are they going to act if you and your husband ever have a baby, especially a boy? When they overstep your parenting boundaries, it will be to talk about that baby as their baby, how they raised him, etc. I'm definitely extrapolating here, but it isn't exactly a reach to think they will not only continue this behavior, but escalate it. Ops response: thank God, the way my parents were talking to me, I thought I was crazy for finding their behavior disturbing. I think you're so right about potential kids. I know that even now I'm not really comfortable being around my parents, so there's no way they're seeing me without defined boundaries, much less any children I may have. Commenter 2, did I read that right? Stockings for them and your hubby, but not for you. Ops response: yes, stockings for only the 3 of them. Creep me the hell out. Commenter 3, I don't get this. Why would they do that? Are they intentionally trying to hurt your feelings by letting you know they love him more? Is this what they did to your brother? Ops response: I wish I could say my parents would never do such a thing to intentionally hurt me, but that would be a lie. Maybe they had 4 stockings, but excluded mine out of spite after I said I wasn't going to visit. Or maybe they're just unhinged. I was so upset I didn't even want to get into it on the phone. I am 8 years younger than my brother. So, when the worst of it was happening between him and my parents, I was too young to fully understand. But I know that they often made him feel excluded when he disagreed with them or embarrassed them. Commenter 4, everyone sucks here. Your parents are definitely the jerks and are clearly crossing boundaries, extremely unhealthy ones. What I don't understand is how your parents deliberately and methodically cross boundaries step by step over what appears to be a couple of years. And you just stood by and let it get worse. You basically let a full cycle of some convoluted imshment start. And now that he's fully immersed as a replacement enough that your mom and dad can call him their son and have him over without you. That's when you draw the line. Like it or not, these actions were directly affecting your brother's relationship with your parents. By having a replacement, it gave them no incentive to repair the relationship with Dan. And in some ways, it may have reinforced the distance. They are completely content to use Jeff at the expense of Dan. And every step of the way when they were crossing those boundaries was a moment you missed in stopping this unhealthy behavior. And now that it has finally directly affected your relationship with Jeff, now you want to step in and say, "Whoa, that's too far." I know you don't want to believe this, but sometimes, even when things aren't directly affecting you, they are still contributing unhealthy tendencies to the people you love, like your brother. It's still affecting you, just not directly. If you want to fix this, you need to keep Jeff away from your parents until they repair the relationship with Dan. It's the least you can do. Op's response. My first instinct after reading this was to get defensive, and that's how I know you're right. I did fail my brother in ways I was ignorant of, whether I meant to or not. I have always been the type to sit quietly and not make a scene. And while I was a young kid when my brother was struggling, I regret not supporting him better once I was old enough to see how my parents treated him. Truthfully, I was uncomfortable for quite some time with the way my parents treated Jeff. And you're right that I should have said something much sooner. I know I have a lot to work on in terms of healthy boundaries and communication, which is why I'm going to do individual therapy. And Jeff and I are most likely going to go no contact with my parents for a while. I really appreciate hearing a different perspective. Thank you for this comment. Op adds an edit to their post. Thank you all for the support and advice. I appreciate it so much. I haven't been able to sleep, so I've been reading every comment. I don't know if I have the emotional energy to post in just no mill yet, but I'm reading a lot of what's posted there and already feel less alone. My tentative plan is to arrange for Jeff and me to get individual therapy and maybe couples therapy later on. We're going no contact with my parents for a while. I'm also planning to invite Dan to stay with us over the holidays. I have a lot to make up for and I want to spend as much time as I can with him and let him know he's loved. OP adds a second edit to their post. Also, in response to the people pointing out the gross incestuous implications behind this, because of the way my parents talk about me and my husband. Most people who didn't know me growing up assume that I'm their daughter-in-law and Jeff is their son until one of us corrects them. Update 1 month 1 week later. Hi, I posted several weeks ago about a situation in which I felt that my parents were trying to replace my brother Dan with my husband Jeff. I want to first express my gratitude to everyone who commented and messaged me. I was raised in an unhealthy environment and as such I was very out of touch with what normal family dynamics and boundaries look like. The support, the resource recommendations, and the respectful criticisms have all been invaluable to me as I've begun to confront what I've avoided for a long time. People have messaged me asking for an update. Well, I'm happy to share good news. My husband and I went no contact with my parents as many of you suggested. We have also both started going to therapy. We have only had 3 sessions each, but I can definitely say it has been a total relief to process things that I have been bottling up my entire life. I already feel like I can understand myself and the cluster flop I grew up in significantly better. Kind of kicking myself for not trying it sooner. Jeff has felt the same way with his sessions from what he's told me. Under professional advisement, we are holding off on couples therapy until we do a few more individual sessions, but we hope to start in the near future. Now for the main good news, my brother Dan is spending the holidays with us. After taking health precautions, he drove up last week and is staying with us past New Year's. Having Dan around has been incredibly special for me and Jeff. Dan and I have been making up for so much lost time, and I've never seen him smile so much. It warms my heart. I did tell him about the situation with our parents and Jeff before he came. It was hard to hear, but Dan has a really strong support system and seems to be processing it in a healthy way. He's coming up on 7 years sober now. I was finally able to apologize to him for not stepping up as a better sister earlier in his life and for enabling our parents' abuse. He said he doesn't blame me, but I still want to show him through my actions that I will always be there. My parents have been pretty much losing their minds this entire time, especially when they found out Dan is with us. As a people pleaser, I'm proud of myself for being firm and maintaining my boundaries. Right now, my heart is filled with more love and joy than it has been in a long time. I know life won't always be like this, but my brother is safe and healthy and happy and knows he is loved, and that is everything to me. I am sincerely appreciating what I have. Anyway, happy holidays everyone. Thank you again for your help. Much love to all of you. Top/relevant comments. Commenter, congratulations on your new shiny spine. You're on your way to being a healthier and happier you. Good for you. Just be careful because some parents once they realize they are being stood up to escalate their behavior. So beware of retaliation. Op's response. Oh yeah, they're already showing some of their bitterness and anger. I'm sure it's festering as time goes by. I'm just grateful I have a strong support system in case they try anything. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more story like this.